Hi everyone, how are you? Glad to be live again. I've almost done 5 out of 5 days, so I gave myself a challenge to do 5 Facebook Lives in 5 days, tackling 5 amazing topics. So I'm on day number 4 now, and if I hit tomorrow, which I'm pretty sure I will be, mattering on my clients and my time in between, and if they stick to the appointments, as do I, then I'll have an opportunity to make it 5 out of 5. So I really hope that you've enjoyed that and you've gotten some value out of the topics and what we've been discussing. If you haven't caught up on this week, just look through my wall and you'll have an amazing opportunity to have a look at the range of topics that I've discussed. Today, I'm having the opportunity to discuss the link between weight gain, weight loss, emotions, imbalanced perceptions, and some of the elements that we can take control of that'll assist us with the mental factors on whatever weight range that you're looking for that you perceive to be healthy and the rational response for yourself. So I'm not going to promote any particular weight or a scaled weight or anything like that, but whatever you see as being healthy and relevant in terms of yourself, because everybody's got a different opinion on that specific body image and what they want to achieve. As always, welcome to all the people that have joined. I can see Rax and Marika are here, so thank you for having on board, guys. And thank you to everyone else that will be on board as I'm going through this video. Feel free to like and share and put the thumbs up and love hearts and all of those aspects. So I really get an opportunity to interact and connect. And thank you. Naj is the first one to open the account there. So I get an opportunity to see what's relevant for you. And if there's anything in particular that I discuss that you really feel may be relevant or you want more information on, just like Naj did then, feel free to butt in, type something up, and I'll make sure that I answer your question accordingly. So welcome Naj, welcome Jordan. So I've noticed throughout my life that I've seen my weight fluctuate, and it's fluctuated up and down through different elements and periods of my life. And my self-confidence and my self-worth has also at times been directly related to how I felt internally and externally. Because external weight quite often is a mismanagement at times of the foods and the thoughts and things that are going on. And hi Jordan, if you guys haven't connected and had a look at some of Jordan's amazing posts, just one of my clients is doing some amazing things, so feel free to connect with him as well. So the major topic and the elements that I wanted to discuss today is how do we get a grander understanding of the role in which our emotions and imbalanced perceptions play on us wanting to overeat or undereat. And I've noticed some very interesting contradictions in these. I love eating, and I wouldn't say that I eat large amounts of food, but through bodybuilding over the years, every 2 to 3 hours, I eat food. And I've noticed within a certain weight range, my confidence and certainty go up. We have 7 areas of life: physical, financial, mental, spiritual, social, vocation, and family. If we look at our whole lives and split it up into smaller categories like I just did, we actually want to master all those 7 areas. And the more areas that we master, the more filled or full that we feel, because we're fulfilling. When we only feel full, the more areas that we actually fill in. So if I look at your physical vitality on the outside and your physical vitality on the inside, I'm guessing if you're watching this, most of you in your 50s or 60s or 70s want to have an amazing youthful body that represents you having looked after it and mastered that area. But you also want to have an amazing physical body on the inside, know that your organs and everything are running efficiently, as compared to having disease and disorder and cancers and things like that occupy time and space and energy within your life. So part of what I'm talking about is mastery of one segment of your life. Now for me, I know within that range, I have a range in which I feel comfortable and feel most pleased with the way I look externally and also the way I feel internally. When I did bodybuilding and went too far to one extreme and got very lean, I noticed that I may have looked fantastic externally to a large group of people. To other people, they actually said that I looked like I was starving, so I understand the pairs of opposites. But at times, my energy and my internals weren't really balanced in that area. So I found that I had half of the equation, but I didn't always get the second half of it in order to get as lean as I did. I've also noticed that I had times when I was bulking and eating large amounts of food, and I didn't feel that I could even walk up a set of stairs and feel the best that I actually felt. So I felt that externally, I felt like I was carrying excess weight, and internally, I wasn't feeling the best. But I found within a certain range for myself, I could have health and vitality and at the same time be quite satisfied with my external experience. So my internal and external made a beautiful balance point. But in order to stay there, I noticed that there was quite a vast amount of work. Throughout our lives, we'll have different situations that occur, And when those situations occur, we'll label them potentially positive, negative, good, bad, right, wrong, happy, sad. And all of these labels that we give events create different feelings and associations within us that actually allow us to feel that we need something to counteract and balance it. So I'll give you an example. If anyone is watching this and you've got, say, chocolate cravings or sugar cravings, feel free to give a little thumbs up. I'd love to see who else has what I'm about to mention. I've noticed at times in my life when something happened in a relationship with my family, within my business, especially if it was really valuable to me, and I considered that to be really sour, I would look for something really sweet. So if something happened within a relationship and I really didn't like it, all of a sudden I had a craving for a chocolate bar or something really, really sweet. So I've got one person that's also experienced that too. And I noticed that at times when I got sick or I had a cold or a flu, I would automatically feel like I wanted a pizza, one of my favorite foods. So what I noticed was there was a direct link between me feeling below the balance point and down and out and looking for pleasurable quick fixes in references to food. So I've got James here who says that he feels the same way. And when I attended a program by Dr. John Demartini, where he took 7 days, Prophecy One program, and looked into the 7 areas of life, and one of them was health and vitality, and I heard him talking and he said, sometimes when we feel that situations have occurred where they bring us down and out in our perceptions, we'll look for something in order to exaggerate that. That's what's known as a quick fix. And that can be drugs, sex, alcohol, connecting with other people, food, anything. Doesn't really matter what it is. What you're looking for, you feel unfulfilled, below the balance point, and you look for something in order to counteract and balance that. And the pleasure you want is directly proportionate to the pain that you perceive that you're experiencing within your perceptions. Once again, your perceptions being the way that you see and perceive and label the external world outside of you. It isn't the way that the world is, because if I have 10 people and I have a specific event in front of those 10 people, each one of those people is going to have a different label. One person might say it's extremely negative, another one says that's actually extremely positive, and a range of people will be scattered in between those two extremes. So the way we see and perceive the world will have a direct impact on whether we feel, whether it's food or anything else, we need a quick fix. And this is why sometimes you'll have friends that'll be, I spoke to a client recently, and they said to me, during this certain period of my life, I was addicted to drugs. And I said, drugs are a strategy for most people I know to overcome a pain and get a pleasure. What were you running away from? And they'd never really been asked that question. They'd spent so much time saying it's such a negative part of my life. I said, if you had a better strategy, you would have used it. But I'm guessing you exhausted as many strategies as possible, found that it wouldn't give you a pleasure for your pain, and you ended up just moving to the drugs because you found you get a quick fix, and all of a sudden you would forget about it until you had to come down, then you had to deal with the problem and the come down. And he said, that's true. And we had a look and we found all of the pains, and we realized that the pleasure was directly proportionate. So next time that you feel a craving for something really sweet, or you feel a craving for something very sugary, but you don't want to have the guilt associated with potentially eating that, because at times I've noticed when I had that craving and I perceived there were negatives going on in my life and I looked for a positive and had that pizza or whatever it was, I would go into a frantic state where I would just shovel food into my mouth. And before I knew it, when I was done, I wouldn't feel the best and lethargic and low in energy, and then I'd have excess weight that I'd have to deal with. So sometimes, and I've noticed a direct link, I can work with clients that are largely overweight beyond what is healthy. And quite often, that weight is representative of emotional baggage that they've gone through without their lives. This isn't in everybody, but I've noticed this in a lot of cases. And as we go through and work through the emotional baggage, quite often I'll see those clients actually increase their value for exercise and looking after themselves, because their value for life and what's valuable and most meaningful to them actually increases. And I know throughout my life, quite a few of the times when I've not looked after my body, that's also sometimes being associated with different stresses and things that I perceived externally, that I was looking for that pleasure to counteract that pain. So what do you do if you experience that in your life, especially if you're experiencing that on a regular basis, and your strategy for overcoming the pain is to constantly just put food in your mouth? And what do you do if it's unconscious? You're not even aware of it until you've had a whole packet of chips or a whole pizza or whatever it is that you find is stimulating you. By the way, these principles also apply for other things that you may be using as stimulants, such as connecting with friends or sex or anything else. There's nothing wrong with all of these in a level of balance, but it's when you overbalance them and later on you kind of realize there's a lot of work to be done to overcome the weight and bring your health and vitality back into check. Well, one of the things that I've done is observe my thoughts. So I actually I cut off all sugar. Once a month, I have a calzone on a cheat day with my pizza. And Renee knows I love those. They're warm with Nutella goodness. So that's my once a month sugar fix. But in reference to what I started doing, I started observing when I specifically felt like something sugary. So if I was going through my day and something occurred in my business and I perceived it to be a negative, before I even realized, and I started to feel like I wanted some kind of pleasure for that pain, and I'd have a feeling like I wanted a pizza or a chocolate or something, I'd just take a second and I'd just sit there and think, and I'd go, okay, hold on. If I'm feeling like a sugar fix, then what is it that's occurred that's allowed me to feel that way? And I'll have a look and I'll go, yep, this, and I'll write down all of the items that I perceive are painful that are creating the desire for that pleasure. Then I actually take a sheet of paper and I write the 7 areas of my life, and I write whatever I perceive to be painful 5 to 10 ways in each area of life, including my highest values. So it ends up being over 80 quite often by the time I'm done. 80 to 100 ways in which whatever has occurred is actually assisting me. Now, this is an amazing exercise. For most people, it'll look like I'm just writing on paper and trying to change my mind. But anybody that has a vast interest in neurology and the way that the brain and the body works and how they connect with each other would know that you can change your perceptions and change your thoughts and change the way that you physiologically feel, and you can do it quite instantaneously. So thanks, Naj. It is an amazing tip and one that I've used. It's allowed me to back off sugars and coffees and addictive behaviors in a lot of ways. As I started to do this, and I took my perceptions of my extreme pains and saw the pleasures in them, and then I also asked myself, what would be the drawback if I got the outcome I wanted? So if it was in business and I wanted to hit a major account, and instead of hitting a $20,000 account, I perceived that I lost it, I would see the benefits of losing it until I was appreciative in that moment. Then I would see the drawbacks of having got that until I'm fully present and balanced and appreciative and enjoying not only that moment, but where I am. And I think that's Renee. So Renee's here as well, and she'll be able to jump on live. But one of the amazing things about that was that it gave me an opportunity to finally start managing my sugar intake. It gave me an opportunity to actually start having a look at the foods that I was putting in my mouth. And it actually gave me an opportunity to get very clear and concise about not overeating or not using sugar or food as a strategy to overcome my pains, but to actually manage them. If you look at that over a lifetime, you'll find that I probably saved myself at least 10 or 20 or so kilos just by doing that. So if you're finding that you've got a lot of emotional baggage, if you've got a lot of imbalanced perceptions or things that are occurring throughout your life, and if you're finding that they're creating desires inside of you to look for quick fixes, then I highly recommend utilizing that technique. Just getting present the minute that you realize, it may be after you've eaten maybe a chocolate bar or half a chocolate bar, but just get present to what's causing that desire inside of you to create that balance, that pleasure, to get away from the pain, overcome that. And if you do that over and over again, you'll create a strategy within yourself to actually tackle on your challenges and actually go out and acquire mastery in those areas and use that as fuel for fire. And that's not saying not to enjoy some of the chocolate bars and other magnificent foods that there are out there. It's just saying that you don't need to use them as a way to sugarcoat, technically, what it is that you're seeing as painful. There are ways to control the mind and still look amazing and fit within that ratio and that weight range that you're looking to acquire. It also means that you've got a greater level of balance. I did some time to study what it is a sugar does to the body, and it's equivalent to, in a lot of cases, to what cocaine does. So I found it a little bit odd to be having a cocaine fix in as many of my foods as possible. So you may want to also have a look at that so you can better manage some of the foods that are going in your mouth so that they can increase the longevity of yourself and what it is that you're doing. So I hope this was of value to you. I really appreciate your time and effort. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the Facebook Lives that I've created this week. If you or somebody else is looking to manage your weight more efficiently and work on the mental aspect of that and really create a strong mind, or if you've got quick fixes or someone that you know that really is taking over their lives and preventing them from living at that next level and acquiring the goals that they desire, then I really look forward to being of assistance to you, and you're more than welcome to share this video with them, inbox me and let me know their relevant details, and I'll send a warm and friendly hello. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time and enjoy an inspiring day. And I think Renee just came home. I saw her, so I'm going to go give her a hug. Ciao.